Another brick fan with the 2024 Advent calendars. This is our last day, day 24. Here we have the 5 Advent calendars I've been doing for 2024. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed seeing the new Disney Advent calendar. Some pretty nice builds in that calendar, and there's a little game you can play with it as well. I still think my favorites are Harry Potter and Star Wars. I just like those themes. The Marvel one has some really good pieces, and if you're really looking for Christmas themed stuff, City is always the very best as far as having winter or Christmas themed gifts inside. Having said all that, let's look at day 23 builds from yesterday. Here are yesterday's builds. We have Spider-Ham as a snowman there from Marvel. From City, we got this sleigh. From Harry Potter, we have this turkey centerpiece. From Disney, we get the right side of the Disney castle. And from Star Wars, we have Luke's land speeder. Let's take a look at the day 24 builds. Here we are on the final day of our 2024 Advent calendar. So here's day number 24 for Marvel, down here in the bottom corner. And we end up with a Christmas tree decorated with lightning. Here's our Christmas tree. The little lightning bolts going there, probably some reference back to Electro, one of Spider-Man's villains. So there we have completed the Marvel Advent calendar for 2024. Let's move on and take a look at City. Here we are on the final day of our City Advent calendar, day 24. Typically this is Santa Claus. And once again we get Santa Claus. So there we have the big man himself, Santa Claus. Dual molded legs here, which is nice to get. Of course, his sack of toys. And it also looks like he will fit on that sled that we built yesterday. So there we have him on this little sled. Not quite the Santa sleigh that we sometimes get, but still looks very good. And once again, Santa only has one print. He doesn't have the two faces. The only one in this entire set series that has that is Mrs. Claus. But nice to get both Santa and Mrs. Claus in the City set this year. Let's move on to the last day of Harry Potter. We're on our last day of the Harry Potter Advent calendar, day 24. And it is Dumbledore. So here is Dumbledore for our final build for 2024 in Harry Potter. You can see he's got these nice red robes with the gold printing there, blacks and other colors, nice and shiny. So a lot of it's covered up by his very long beard. He does have an alternate expression, which is kind of funny because you really can't see Dumbledore's expressions. But again, he's printed on both the front and back, which is very nice. Overall, a really good minifigure here of Dumbledore. Let's take a look at the Disney Advent calendar. We've reached the final day for the Disney Advent calendar, so here is day 24. And it is the rest of the Disney castle. So here's the final section of the castle, kind of a tower and a balcony here, some flowers on the outside. I like the blues and golds here. And of course, this will all be put together as our final castle build. So there is the complete castle that was built in 4 days. So a very large piece for an Advent calendar, but I think it turned out really nicely. So that concludes our Disney Advent calendar. Let's take a look at the last day of Star Wars. We've reached the final calendar on the final day for 2024. So here is day 24 of Star Wars. And we have a ship that I don't recognize. So I did a quick lookup. This is the Crimson Firehawk. I'll get a little more info on it. But that is the final build for 2024. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we have built. Here are all the builds from day 24. So from Marvel, we end up with this Christmas tree decorated with the lightning bolts. So I'm assuming that has a reference back to Electro, which is one of Spider-Man's villains. Naturally, we get Santa Claus as our last figure for the City Advent Calendar that has been going on every time I've opened a City Advent Calendar, but it's always great to get another Santa Claus minifigure. From Harry Potter, we have Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts. We also got the final piece of the Disney Castle, this balcony. And then finally, from Star Wars, we got this vehicle that I wasn't super familiar with, but this is called the Crimson Firehawk. And that was released here in 2024, and I think it's from one of the Star Wars animated series. So let's take a quick look at the Disney Castle all assembled. I think I showed that earlier, but just really quickly. So there we have the entire Disney Castle done. So a very good set of gifts we got this year in 2024, and have a very Merry Christmas. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. I'll be doing an Advent calendar builds every single day until the 24th of December.